Hi, first graders. Today for Writer's Workshop, we're going to continue talking about a personal narrative. Remember that a personal narrative is a true story from your own life. We're going to talk about the 5 W's today. Well, the 5 W's are 5 question words. We have a who, what, when, where, and why. And all of these question words are going to help us to write our own personal narratives. So first, let's talk about who, okay? In a book, we have characters, right? So the who is a person or animal that's in the story. Here's an example. Who will be at the party? We have what. What is an object and action? So we have many objects that are going to be in our books or many things that are going to happen in our stories. That is the what. For example, what is that? We have when. So when is a time? Okay, when does your story take place? When does school start? We have where. So that's also part of the setting, when and where. So where is the place? This is an example, where do you live? But we're going to think about where your story will be taking place. Why? So a reason or explanation why something happens. Here's your example, why can't I climb a tree? So today we're going to read this book called Little Nino's Pizzeria. And as we read this book, we're going to try to answer all of those 5 W's. We're going to see if this book has the 5 W's in it. The who, the what, the where, the when, the why. Let's see if we can find them as we read. Little Nino's Pizzeria. My dad, Nino, makes the best pizza in the world. I am his best helper. So let's think about who is telling the story for a minute. There are clues, right? It says my dad and it says I'm. Well, that means that we have our character right here. So we can tell who is telling the story is this little boy right here. I help knead the pizza dough. Now that we know who's talking, we can find out our main character's name. Look very closely at the picture. Do you see it? I see it. It's right here. So our main character's name is Tony. He's the kid who's telling the story, his personal narrative. I help stir the pizza sauce. Well, guess what? We have another who in our story too, right? So we talked about how who is a person or an animal. In this case, we have Tony and we have his dad. That's the main characters in this story. And it looks like Tony is helping his dad. And I help grate the cheese. When the customers are finished, I know how to pick up their plates. So now we can talk about the what the action is. What is Tony doing? Tony is helping his dad at the restaurant. This is a big action of the story. We've just learned about the different ways that Tony helps his dad and carry out the dirty dishes. I help give the extra pizzas to hungry people in the alley who have no homes. So now let's think about the when that this happens, right? If I look at the picture here, it looks to me like it's nighttime, right? And if Tony's helping his dad with dinner each night for all these customers, then it's happening each night. So far, our author has really put a lot of our 5 W's into this story. And I help my dad serve our pizza pies. People come from all over town to eat at Little Nino's. They wait in long lines because our restaurant is so small. Now we have the where, we have the place, right? It says people come from all over town to eat at Little Nino's. So what is our place? Yep, Little Nino's. One night, a man came to see my dad after the last pizza. What did he want? That night, my dad told my mom we would be making lots more money now. I wonder what that man was saying. The next day, my dad locked up Little Nino's. So he's closing their restaurant. Soon he opened a big, fancy, expensive restaurant. He called it Big Nino. So look at all of the people there that are all dressed up at this big restaurant now. Do you see Tony? I tried to help in the dining room, but the waiters tripped over me and I spilled a lot of food. I tried to help in the kitchen, but Francois, the chef, pushed me away. Well, wasn't it Tony's job to help in the kitchen before? I wonder how he's feeling about all of these changes. Are you thinking about a certain way that he's feeling? I asked my dad how I could help, but he was too busy to even notice me. No matter how I tried to be helpful, I was always in the way. So I went home. I missed little Nino's. And if we look at this picture, he's walking past the old restaurant, which is closed. And it looks like he's not the only one that misses little Nino's too. Look to see who else is missing it. But then one night, my dad came home from Big Nino, extra tired. He said, I miss cutting tomatoes and chopping onions and kneading dough. I want to make pizza. I wonder what's going to happen if he misses doing all of those things, just like Tony. And then he looked at me. Tony, my best helper. Has Tony been able to help him? No. So the next day we went back to Little Nino's. Soon we reopened it, and the man from Big Nino got a new person to be in charge there. So now we have our why. We have a reason that something is happening, right? Tony and his dad missed making the pizzas at Little Nino's together. So we have a big event that's happening here. My dad, Nino, still makes the best pizza in the world, but he changed the name of our restaurant. So it used to be Little Nino's. They're opening that same place again. Any guesses as to what the name of the restaurant might be? I know that he's happy to have his helper, Tony, back. Here it is. Do you see the arrow? Little Tony's Pizzeria. So he named it after Tony, his favorite helper, Little Tony's Pizzeria. And that's the end of this book. So now let's talk about our 5 question words and what we're going to do. All right, you're going to have a paper like this. You should have it in your folder. And it has the same pictures going all the way down the side that we talked about in the very beginning. The who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. So this is when we put all of these events from this story together here. The topic was the pizzeria. Who was in the story? We said it was Tony and Tony's dad. What? Well, Tony helped his dad at the pizzeria. That's what happened. Where did it take place? At Little Nino's. When? Dinner time and evening. And why? What happened? Tony's dad liked his small restaurant, Little Tony's. So that's what happened at the end. So when you're writing this topic, you can see that I don't always have full sentences. I have a full sentence for the what here, for what happened, but I don't have one for the when. I just have my thoughts here, and that's okay for when you're filling out about you. You can just put your ideas here. They do not have to be complete sentences. Now I'm going to give you my idea. So see here, this is once again everything we talked about, the who, the what, the where, the when, and the why. So who, right? So I'm giving you my example now of if I were to write a story. I'm picking a topic, swimming. Okay, and you're going to think about the topics that you've been writing about and what you're choosing to write your personal narrative about, that main topic. So if my topic were swimming, okay, that's what I've chosen because it's a fun thing to write about. I'd put that up top. So who? My family and me. So we're together and we're doing our swimming. What happens when we're swimming? I float in my pool and read books on my deck. Where? In my backyard. Because that's where my pool is. When does this happen? In the summer. So just like the when was at night in Little Nino's, well, when for me for the pool would be in summer, because that's when this happens. And my why, I love relaxing at the pool with my kids. So that is the why. So you're going to pick your topic for your story, and you're going to write down who is with you in your story. Is it you? Is there somebody else with you? What happens? Where does your story take place? When does it take place? And why?